Welcome back to another episode of With Sonar. I'm Luke Falaska. It's Wednesday. It is the first day of July. We're glad we're here. A start of a new quarter. We got a holiday just around the corner. The freight market's going through the roof. Volume levels are at record high. Tender rejections are going up. Goodness gracious, what more is there? Aside from my co-host Kyle Taylor. Kyle,
what more can you need?
What more can you need?
Yeah, I mean, freight volumes are okay, but
yeah,
at least me and you are still here.
Yeah, exactly. So, we're still here. We're still talking. We're making things happen. Trying to at least.
We're making things happen. Things are flowing. We're back for another episode of With Sonar.
Yep.
So I'm super jacked up. Not only because it is start of H2.
That's right.
Second half of the year. Nothing gets me more jazzed up than a new half.
Is it one of those things? It can't get worse than the first half of the first year. Is it too soon to say that?
It's a very interesting thing about rock bottom. Only going up. So that's spot on. That's exactly what. And I think the way it worked out with it being, obviously 4th of July. So we really only have 2 days, and the entire country's off.
Exactly. And then we kind of we see what happens. Do we fall into typical seasonal patterns, or do we get another wrench thrown our way?
I see the wrench coming. I can see it, I can see the monkey throwing it our way already.
I mean, you can sort of hear it whizzing through the air.
Yeah, it's like that fly that's just buzzing in your ear. We got positive COVID cases, even though we see the, death counts going down. We still see all the COVID cases lighting up in Florida, Arizona, Georgia, really the Southeast, and then Texas. And so the interesting part that really comes into effect is that now, compared to the last time we had this, really at the end of March, is actually no more people getting coronavirus now. I'm having friends from back home saying they came in contact through like a third source, like they were at work and their work's wife had a friend at work who now has been in contact. So I now have to be quarantined for 2 weeks. So that's going to be the interesting thing to see, businesses having to shut down for 2 weeks.
Yeah, and I think more people are beginning to take it seriously too, in a different sense. It seems like as more and more cases pop up, people just start to know other people that had it or have it.
Right.
And that's sort of having them reflect a little bit to take back to see if they should maybe take some deeper precautions. So we'll see how that translates. But let's talk about freight. So 4th of July is coming up. We know that's a couple days away. It hits right on a Saturday. Do you have any good 4th of July plans, by the way? We were talking earlier. You're traveling a little bit, right?
Just a little bit. I'll be going to Park City, so Salt Lake City, Utah, for a little bit for the weekend. Friend's birthday party, so I'll be hitting some.
Now, does your friend live in Salt Lake City?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So not to hate on anybody in Salt Lake City, it's a lovely
the Mormons?
place. I've been there. It seems like odd if we're here in Chattanooga, Tennessee, to travel all the way to Salt Lake City to have a good time. Not that you can't have a good time there, I'm sure you can, but
coming from Florida,
conveniences.
Coming from Florida, the mountains are massive, right? And then comparing to Utah, Utah mountains, I think they have the highest peak is like 6,000 feet of elevation. Here it's
it's a speed bump compared to Salt Lake. Okay, I'll give you that. That's fine. That's fair. Plus your friend lives out there. Well, good. Well, hopefully you have a good time. I will. It's going to be a day at the pool for me, I think.
Yeah?
It's going to be a day at the pool. Although I will probably blind everybody because I haven't spent much time outside, so my tan is about as weak as it's ever been in the history of my summers.
At least you got the pull-up bar. If you've been following us for a couple weeks, Luke's got his pull-up bar
I
back.
have my pull-up bar.
Yeah.
That's right.
So Beachbody's back.
The Beachbody is back, or at least somebody's is. Mine.
Someone's got to do it.
Somebody's got to do it, right? Yeah, it's just like, middle school, which way's, you guys see my beach ball? It's over there. No.
Where's the restroom? Is it that way?
Yeah, exactly. It didn't work then, and it doesn't work now. So, anyways.
No, but it's been a hectic 2 weeks, though.
It has. We did freight volumes as of yesterday were nearly at an all-time high.
Yep.
Right. So we saw when we've been covering where freight has traveled through this whole volatility season. Right. We had a high at the end of March when that peak buying or that panic buying surge happened. Right. And then we plummeted to a low of the year, apart from a couple of holiday dips. and then we slowly started rising. That's the thing, like, we slowly started rising since about April 15th, the old tax day.
Right.
And then it really just started. I never forgot about that, right?
Little fun fact.
Little fun fact. The old tax day. Maybe it'll be back again in 2021.
Is that the Old Testament?
And we slowly started rising. And finally in June, it was just like, forget it, we're going to the moon. Stock market's got nothing on us.
Hey, listen, one-way ticket on a rocket ship is what we're on right now.
That's it.
So we'll see. I think we're less than 150 basis points away from the end of March peak of the panic buying phase.
Yep.
And I mean, no one's really talking about it, but I don't see any toilet paper on the shelves. I haven't seen toilet paper on the shelves in a couple of weeks, at least at the Publix that we go down here in North Shore.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm very interested to see how. I mean, everyone ramps up for 4th of July, so we're going to buy a little bit more. We do have all these checks from the government coming in, so no one's going to change their style of living. They're still going to buy the, the Coronas or the whatever White Claws or whatever you're drinking this holiday season. But we're going to be buying, we're going to be grilling, so we're definitely going to see the grocery store starting to ramp up.
Absolutely, yeah. Let's go ahead, just to give a forward view, let's go ahead and throw up on the screen what we have here for the folks. So this is what we're talking about. That blue line, if you've been following us, you've seen this before, right? You've seen that volume level. That blue line that you see there that ends in the middle of the screen as well, because folks, we are right in the middle of the year,
right,
perfectly. And that shows the overall truckload volume level in the United States. Notice how close it is to that peak that we saw right over there, right here in March 23rd. I mean, we're there. We're like Kyle was saying, we are less than 1.5% away. He uses basis points. I use percentages because basis points that's difficult for me to understand. But
too much for the peanut,
Too much, way too much. You're more into stocks than I am too, so you got all this like financial lingo over here.
Yeah.
Me, I can't even spell the word truck. So
high-pitched noises, little.
But anyway, that's where we are. I mean, look at that. I mean, that's your V. Your V-shaped recovery doesn't get any better than that. Now, what's interesting is that those volume levels there were abnormal. Notice the green and notice the orange line. That is 2019 and 2018 truckload volume levels over the same period of time. Now, they continue on forward, obviously, because we're looking at their past years and we haven't gotten there yet. But notice how far above we've surged. I mean, you can't even see them. They're so far down there.
Yeah, I mean, it's unprecedented. The volumes that are hitting right now is just at an all-time high. Not an all-time, but we're really close. Essentially an all-time high. And it seemed like just an afterthought that we were just talking about carriers' rates being extremely suppressed, and they can't even operate appropriately, and operating ratios coming out were above 100%. And so now we're seeing the cyclical nature. Are we going to start seeing maybe the shippers come back and say, we need more regulation, you're overcharging me for that freight? Now that the capacity is tightening, you're probably having some capacity leave the market. I mean, you know this, I know this from holiday weekends. Everyone wants to be home for the weekend. So what am I not going to do on Thursday? Take a long haul load that's going to put me out on the other side of the country until Monday or Tuesday. Yeah. Unless that's what I'm going to do. You're definitely a time right now where you can make a lot of extra money on the spot market. But we're seeing tender rejections everywhere at all-time highs. I mean, volumes aren't at all-time highs yet, but I was looking at Atlanta, Savannah, the Southeast right now is just tender rejections are through the roof, higher than where they were during the peak buying of COVID, which is, it blows my mind. Let
me pull this up for you here, folks, what Kyle's talking about right here. I want you to, there's a lot going on here on this table that you can see. I want you to ignore everything except for this column that's all in green right here. This is the only thing I want you to look at right here.
My favorite color.
Green, baby. Green is the color of money. At least here in the United States. If you, somewhere else it may be different. But here is the color of money. But no, Kyle, you're absolutely right. So, folks, what I want you to be able to look at, the number on top is the weekly percent change. So if you look at Atlanta here, so look at this top column, ignore everything else. Look at the green box here on that top row, okay? You see Atlanta says 9.53%. That's weekly. So essentially, Atlanta's tender rejections have gone up 10% over the last 7 days. That bottom number, 18.57, that's the current rejection rate. So you're sitting at basically an 18.5% rejection rate, which is a 10% increase over the last week. I'll click on it here. It'll show me the chart. Boom, there it is. Fantastic. Look up and to the right, folks. Those are Atlanta's tender rejections. Look at this. Kyle, right here, on the 21st, 10 days ago, we were at 7% tender rejections.
Volumes only go up. It seems like that's all we're seeing right now. All of the volumes are coming back. The warehouses that really pulled all that freight forward at the beginning of March before COVID really hit here, all those volumes being pushed. Now we have all these businesses opening back up that maybe weren't able to really push back out. Restaurants are opening back up, so you're seeing those commodities on the reefer side really heat up, and it just, all of these things combined, it's really uncertain for shippers right now. I've talked to a couple today, very large shippers in multiple industries, that they are putting out fires left and right. Yeah. It is, let's try to just keep somewhat of a service offering here, because it's everything. The route guide is completely falling. And if you've heard us before, tender rejection rates, that is we are following route guide compliance. Yep. Because as tender rejection rates go up, that means acceptances are going down. It's the other side of the coin. And so that means service levels are falling down. Shippers set up route guides, it kind of contradicts itself, but the cheapest, most service-oriented carriers at the top, and then it falls down from there. You get higher rate per mile, lower service offering as you go down, and then until it just hits the spot market. And so that's exactly what we're seeing here, which makes it extremely beneficial to be a broker right now, capitalizing on inefficiencies in the market. Yeah. And so, well, I think it can be good to be a broker if you're a broker in the spot market right now and you have capacity. If you're locked into a lot of your contracts, I think a lot of carriers are probably starting to squeeze them a bit on those margins on the contract side. Yeah, I think you're also seeing a lot of brokers. Great point, because brokers are also probably having to eat those margins. Everyone thinks brokers have these fat margins that they have, but other side of the coin, I talked to a couple brokers today and yesterday, and the quotes that they may have put out 2 days ago, I can't even find a truck for that price right now. Yep. So you're having that aspect where you want to keep the business with your customers, with your shippers, the Walmarts of the world, the Targets of the world, but they're not accepting rate increases. They said, you agreed to this. I can't accept the rate increase. So now you're having to eat into your margins. Now you're seeing the brokerage side seeing the margins completely taken away, or negatives being impacted there. So now you're just like the operating ratio is for carriers, you're above 100% there. So all in all, it's a very complex market that you must have up-to-date information to make these decisions. Segue into with Sonar. We're here. With Sonar, wow, yes. Didn't see that coming. No, this is a good point. I was talking with a shipper today, literally not 2 hours ago, before we got on the show. I was talking with a shipper, and we were literally looking at this right here. We were looking at Atlanta, okay? This chart that you see right here on the right-hand side of the screen. We were looking at this, and I was talking to him, and he was telling me that they work with one very large provider that moves all of their freight out of Atlanta. Mm-hmm. Everything out of Atlanta. It's a very large broker. Everybody here knows their name. I'm not going to say it, but you've heard of them. Or at least most people have. And he was telling me that over the last 10 days, so basically this week and last week, they've been that provider has been failing them on a lot of loads. They've been saying, I didn't get this load delivered. We couldn't get it covered. Capacity is tightening. Like, they're having a lot of service failures right now from somebody that you wouldn't expect to have that, right? Or at least not many. Right. And due to their network. And I was telling him, listen, you're experiencing all of this over the last 2 weeks. And I was like, I could have shown you that increase was happening 2 weeks before you experienced it. It's happening right here. That's a perfect opinion. You could have called them to make sure you have capacity for my freight. I need to get my freight moved. They're a food manufacturer. They have to get their food to the stores, especially for 4th of July weekend. Had you had this, you could have called them and said,
hey, do you have capacity? Because I see here it's tightening up. Are you experiencing that, or do you have something that the market doesn't show? That are you basically safe from the market changes? They could have called and realized, no, they don't have capacity. Great, I can make other arrangements. Thank you. I'm good for the weekend. I made other arrangements. I have 2 weeks to do that.
As more and more visibility comes out, you're going to see more accountability across the industry, from the shipper to the broker to the carrier. Maybe not in the way of you think that you would initially think, being I want to know exactly what the broker's paying. I want to know what the shipper's paying. I want to know all the margins of that. But really, just understanding what's going on a market level will give you that intelligence to say, this is what's going on. How do I make a better decision? Nothing's worse than having your C-level, your leadership come down to you and say, what the heck are you doing, Luke?
Yeah.
We had to get these to grocery stores by Friday in order for us to make any money off them.
Every supervisor I have asked me that, so, to be fair.
I've asked you that actually 5 minutes before the show.
That's true.
So.
Which I didn't have an answer for. Sorry, go ahead.
And so what you're going to see is more visibility come into the market, and for brokers, that's not going to be very good for them. I mean, more visibility. They capitalize on inefficiencies, so as the market gets more efficient, you're going to see more information coming out. You're going to see shippers that are actually more proactive than ever and not afraid to lay out a strategy and plan to say that if anything fails here, this is going to be the next game plan.
I think you're right to a point. There's definitely brokers out there that rely a lot on inefficiencies, and they can make a big business with that. But there's the other side of the coin is brokers that have this information, and I've talked to some of our broker customers here. They use this almost as like a transparency tool, a sales tool. It's like I've literally had them. They will take this tool to their shipper customers, and they'll say, hey, here's what's happening in the market. This is what we're experiencing.
Right.
This is going on. This is going to cause problems here, but over here, we're able to make up for that because of X, Y, and Z. Right. And it's just, I think you can really use some of that transparency to your advantage. I think you're absolutely right. A lot of folks hold their cards close to their chest. When things are going really, really well for carriers, a lot of those small carriers kind of take advantage of the brokers because the brokers need a truck. Flip side, when things are going bad for carriers, some brokers will take advantage, and it kind of goes the other side. It's just a back and forth.
Yeah.
But now, if you have this, you can say, hey, here's what's going on.
Yep.
This is what I'm experiencing. This is what I'm doing to circumvent that, right?
Right. And with a cost-plus model that's really out there and developing, this visibility allows you to hold people more accountable. From a brokerage side, you're in a cost-plus model that, hey, transportation cost is going up, capacity is getting tighter. We talk about this all the time. Luke, what do you mean it's getting tighter? I've got 3 other quotes that are saying they could do it for this much. Well, I called a couple trucks, I called my truck, and they said that the price is going up. Well, now you have something that can validate it, a third-party source besides just, all right, maybe you called the wrong 3 carriers this time. But to be able to validate that from the brokerage side is actually spot on, and that's a great call out there. But let's kind of talk a little bit through.
I want to address a question here. We had a question that came in from Facebook from Muhammad, and he asked, thank you for your question. Sorry we didn't get to it earlier. Why do you think freight volumes will drop? Is it, and I think that's a great question, right? Is it financially beneficial to FreightWaves? No, it's not. We would like freight volumes to continue to be high because a lot of our customers are transportation folks. We want business to be good for them. But no, the reason why I think freight volumes are going to drop, let me jump back in here to Sonar. Go ahead and flip up the screen real quick. So notice on this chart here, all right? So if you see this blue line here, right, that's that truckload volume where we're at right now. Now keep in mind, might be wrong about this, might be wrong, this is a guess, but if you see truckload volumes here, the blue line is 2020, the orange line is 2018, and the green line is 2019, okay? Both of them tend to have some of their highest volume levels in the month of June. And then after July, volume levels tend to kind of slip a little bit.
Right.
Not crash, nothing's crashing to the ground, right? But they tend to kind of have some of their highest months here. Also, the other thing for this big surge of volume, remember, we were at a pretty big deficit down here for a while, back in April and some of May. So some of this could be attributed to making up for some of that deficit. There was a big consumer spending month in May that
Right.
came out, right? So, when you combine all that, it's tough to say that this is going to be sustainable. I'm not saying we're going to crash to the ground. I don't think we are. I don't think we're going to see lows like we did in April. I really don't.
Yep.
But I do think we're going to come off of this high a little bit and kind of fall a little bit more into a seasonal pattern.
Right.
Whether we fall above 2018, below 2018, below 2019, somewhere, I don't know. But I do think we are going to fall a little bit more in a seasonal pattern after this as folks get back to a new normal.
Yeah.
And Mohammed, that's kind of why we're thinking volume levels will slip a little bit. Again, we would love for them to stay high. That's great for everybody. Most of our customers are in transportation. We want them to have great years. We love that. But just to kind of paint a little picture there, hopefully that's helpful.
Yeah, no, I think, to kind of go back on that, and it was a great segue because I was actually going to bring up, what are we thinking for the week after 4th of July? All these hangovers that are going to be coming out on Monday, sunburns and hangovers is what we'll see. But historically, just like on this chart that we're looking at right now, the month of July and August actually kind of plateaued. So we actually end up coming down probably 3 to 5% coming out of 4th of July weekend. We know the surge of getting all of the, you'll see reefer surge, you'll see van surge just for the 4th of July commodities and the consumer goods. Then afterwards, we'll see kind of a plateau. So if that corresponds with what's going on now, that's going to be extremely interesting to see these volumes continue to drop. I think we'll see a kind of a steady, slow decrease. But the two things that are really going to affect everything is, I think, unemployment. We really need to monitor unemployment through the next month. And it's going to be getting those checks from the government. So as soon as those stimulus checks start to dry up, because of those checks, we didn't really see a lot of changes in livelihood amongst a lot of people. So unemployment and checks coming in, the stimulus checks coming in. So as soon as those run out, we'll see less buying, is what I would assume going into August. But that's kind of my prediction, I guess you can call it.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely some truth to that. It's really hard to say. We are in uncharted territories for a lot of this, but I think there is a lot of those unemployment checks are a little bit bigger due to a lot of that financial stimulus money that's been that Fed stimulus money that's been coming in. So I think that's allowed people to maintain a lifestyle that they are very similar to what they've been from traditionally unemployment, without all of this extra stimulus money. So that's really helped to drive a lot of the freight that we're seeing out there, right? Consumers tend to drive everything. The consumer drives the economy.
Yeah. And our economist Anthony Smith would have praised you for that. It's all about consumer sentiment.
Yeah, I can't take credit for that. That's a big Anthony Smith on. He's actually sitting a little bit behind the cameras over there, giving us a little bit of love. So thank you, Anthony. That one is I took a page out of your book. I don't want to plagiarize here.
Yeah, if
lead economist Anthony Smith.
Yeah,
consumer drives the U.S. economy.
Yes. When in doubt, fall back to consumer sentiment. That's it.
That's it.
That's all I need to know. No PMI. Sorry, no unemployment. Consumer sentiment.
Yeah. What is the consumer doing?
Right. What is the consumer doing? Well, apparently, they're buying everything right now.
All right, what are you buying right now?
What am I buying right now? I
bought a pull-up bar.
Yeah. Bought that like 4 months ago, finally coming in primed.
That's right. Come on.
Come on. But really to kind of continue on this path that we're talking about, Justin McGee on LinkedIn said this is the quoting issue is what we're feeling a lot. Someone quoting something at the end of last week, you go to service it now. If you decided that, okay, I can find coverage or capacity for it a couple days out, you're already behind. And so Justin said that he's never seen such an increase in such a short amount of time, like an extra $1 per mile increase. I can imagine you got a quote out there for $1,200, and it's like, hey, by the way, I can't service this. It's actually got to be 22.
Yeah.
My bad.
It's a lot in a short period of time. It's a lot in a short period of time.
Well, and that is the benefit. I mean, I hate to say we are with sonar. You see it down low. You see it back here. You see it on my chest. Yep. The reason why a lot of people ask us what our predictions are is because we get these endpoints, and these endpoints being the daily data sets, the volumes, the tender rejections, everything's coming in daily so that we can continue to to increase the prediction that we have. If I have to wait another 2 weeks for something to change, well, we're going to guarantee you 2 weeks from now, the rates are going to be down. So what are you going to do now? You're going to quote the same amount. By the time we get there, you're going to see rates maybe suppressed a little bit. So you need the most up-to-date data possible, and that's what we can give you here.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think too, like a big portion of this is, well, these are estimates right now. In a few days' time, we'll know the answer, right? I mean, we'll see what's happening. We'll see what shippers are tendering as soon as they do it. So we won't have to guess. As soon as it changes, we'll know exactly what that is. Maybe it will go up. Maybe it'll stay where it is. Maybe it'll go down a lot. Maybe it'll go down, but then it'll recover. Maybe it'll just kind of slowly recede to some type of normal level. We'll see. It's hard to tell, but at the end of the day, the nice thing is we'll know exactly what the market's going to do. Pretty much almost immediately after the 4th of July. I think time will tell. I'd love for it to kind of, find a nice level in there. Right. Probably above 2019, 2018. Love for it to kind of hang out a little bit above there. And it might have to come off a little bit of where it is now. I would much rather it slowly come off of where it is now than for it to take a sharp drop. I don't like those real extreme movements, but they tend to happen a lot right now. So fortunately, we're able to see when that does happen. But time will tell, of course. And we're part of the problem. We're buying things. Yeah. We're causing trucks to have to move. So I'm going to the store a lot right now.
Yeah.
Gotta get all those hamburgers and hot dogs.
Yeah, don't forget.
What's your grill out of choice, 4th of July? Do you have a favorite thing you like to grill out? Doesn't have to be meat, could be veggie.
That's a tough one. So my wife is a vegetarian, so we normally do have a lot of vegetables on the grill.
What kind of veggies are you grilling?
So definitely corn.
Gotta have corn.
Gotta have corn. Nothing like corn on the grill.
First off, is corn a vegetable or is it a starch?
Matter.
Oh, I guess it doesn't matter. With sonar, not with veggies.
Yeah. Did see something extremely interesting. Grilled pineapple.
No, yeah. We got a check in the house. You can't see it here, but we have approval in the house for grilled pineapple.
Yes.
I've never had grilled pineapple.
Give it a shot. Highly recommend it. And I'm a big fan of a good brat. Good bratwurst.
Yeah.
A good bratwurst off the grill. Did went down to Main Street Meats the other day and got bone-in pork chop. So kind of in a pork kick right now. But what about you? What's your preferred
I like
choice?
I like a good burger. I do like a good burger. I get very lean beef.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not
actually lean, but you get the lean beef.
Low in fat content.
Low in fat, yeah.
Not because not because I think it's healthier. I think it tastes better. It doesn't cook down as much.
Yeah.
When you're cooking it. I got to grill some onions, throw those on there a little bit too.
Yeah.
I really do like grilled salmon. Big fan.
Yeah.
Big fan of grilled salmon. I don't get a lot of it, but it is very good.
Yeah.
To mix in there a little bit.
Last question for you.
Yeah.
What would your floaty of choice be?
Floaty?
What you are going to be laying down in a pool,
Oh.
floating. What shape or food object would you pick as a floaty?
I can't remember the last time I used a floaty. But
Well,
the guy in my ear is telling me pizza.
Pizza. Well, that's cheating. That's what I was going to say. I don't have anything in my ear, but...
See, that's because, I have trouble. See, you all think, oh, wow, he's coming up with all these things on the fly. No, it all comes from the ear. I don't
There's a lot smarter people in his ear.
This drives the conversation here, folks. I actually have nothing of value to offer you.
All acapella here, scripted as heck.
Hey, this scripted right here feeds your acapella. All right?
All right, fair enough.
Enough of that. Folks, we're coming to a close here. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you all have a fantastic 4th of July. We'll see you next week. Next week, we will know what the freight market's going to do. So tune in next Wednesday, 4 p.m. We will see you on another episode of With Sonar. Have a fantastic 4th of July and enjoy the weekend.